Surya's latest film, Karuppu, just crossed 200 crore worldwide. And at the heart of it is a simple but wild premise. A folk deity named Karuppanaswamy accepts a challenge, disguises himself as a human, and walks into a Chennai courtroom to fight a corrupt system. God in a courtroom fighting lawyers. Now, you might think, okay, that's a quirky new idea, but it's not a new at all in Tamil cinema. Tamil cinema has been putting God in the human form for 60 years. What has changed and changed completely is which God, whose problem he is solving, and what he is angry about. This is the story of how God evolved on the Tamil screen. Let's go back to the very beginning. Tamil cinema was born with sound in 1931, and almost immediately it reached for the one thing the audiences already loved and trusted: mythology. The Ramayana, the Mahabharata, stories of Rama, Krishna, Shiva. These are the films of the first 3 decades. And in those films, there was no confusion about what you were watching. You were watching gods in their world, divine doing divine things. A story set in Lanka or Kailash or Dwaraka. The screen was essentially a moving temple. Then came 1965 and a director named A.P. Nagarajan changed the rules. Thiruvilaiyadal. Shivaji Ganeshan plays Lord Shiva, but not a Shiva sitting on the throne in the heavens. This Shiva comes down. He disguises himself as a poet, a laborer, a firewood seller. He walks into the streets of a Pandyan kingdom and meddles in the lives of ordinary people to teach them a lesson. The most famous line is essentially its thesis. Yam unnai aatkallave in the Nadagam aadinom. God is basically describing the conflict he creates is to prove a point. That sentence marks a turning point. The myth isn't the story anymore. The human world is the story. God is just a character in it. The most powerful character, yes, but a character nonetheless. But still, the film was based on the epic collection called Thiruvilaiyadal Puranam by 12th century saint called Paranjodi Munivar. And then Nagaraja used the same template to come up with a much more cinematic film the next year, Saraswati Sabadam in 1966, Kandan Karunai in 1967. Together, they established the template. God enters the mortal world in disguise, dispenses justice, and then leaves. The divine has come down to earth, stories moved from original Hindu mythology to devotional fiction. Fast forward to 1980s and something completely different happens. The big Vedic gods, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, give way to a different kind of deity, the village goddess, the Amman. Films like Mahashakti Mariamman, Thai Moogambige, and the likes. But they all had a cumulative moment that led to an earth-shattering success in 1995 with Amman, a Tamil dub of Telugu film Ammaru. Ramya Krishnan plays a village goddess who descends to earth in human form. And the story she enters is not a kingdom's moral crisis. It's one woman's life, a poor woman, a local deity who comes down as a friend and protector. The formula was simple and it worked. An impoverished woman, an oppressive household, and a goddess who appears to protect exactly her. Not a kingdom, not an entire civilization, one woman. Where Nagaraj Shiva taught a lesson to everyone, the Amman had one job: to protect that person. The Amman wave dominated the late 90s and early 2000s. Ramya Krishnan, Meena, Roja became the default faces of divinity on the Tamil screen. The village goddess had become a genre unto herself. By the mid-2000s, the Amman films ran out of steam commercially and Tamil cinema started asking harder questions about God. Arayan Mookuthi Amman, directed by Chimbu Devan, produced by Shankar. 2 broke unemployed men in Chennai blame God for their lives. And God shows up, literally shows up at their apartment, room 305. Played by Prakash Raj. But here is the twist. God controls the universe through a supercomputer and the 2 men find this machine, steal it, seize divine power, and immediately misuse it for pretty personal gain. God, stripped of his power, has to live as a mortal among the very people who blamed him. The film is asking something the earlier films never asked. What would you do with God's power? And the answer, as you expect, is something pretty embarrassing. God is no longer in a temple or a Pandya court. He is in Chennai apartment. The divine has become a mirror. In 2020, 2 films came out almost back to back and showed us how much the idea of God has shifted. Oh My Kadavule, Vijay Sethupathi plays God, no temple, no iconography, no divine name. Just a man in ordinary clothes sitting in a family court. And the problem he has to solve is not injustice, not evil, not a cruel landlord. It is a failing marriage. The cosmic has become entirely personal. And then Mookuthi Amman. Nayanthara brings back old goddess but completely repurposed. This goddess descends to earth not to protect a poor woman from a cruel family. She partners with a TV journalist to expose a fraudulent godman. The enemy is fake religiosity itself. The god has become an investigative journalist. Which brings us back to Karuppu. Karuppu Swami is not Shiva, not Vishnu, not even the village Amman of the 1990s. He is a folk deity worshipped particularly by working class community, the god of the village boundary, the god of people at the edge of the formal world. Tamil cinema's classical era reached for the great Sanskrit gods. The Amman wave elevated the regional village goddess. Karuppu goes further still, and instead of a Pandyan court or a village household, the arena is a Chennai courtroom, a broken legal system. The enemy is not a demon king or a cruel landlord, it's institutional corruption. What Thiruvilaiyadal's Shiva did in 1965, Karuppu does in 2026. The impulse is identical. Bring the divine into the human world and ask it to fix what humans have broken. Only the gods have changed. Only the problems has changed. Only the world has changed. "60 years, 6 different gods, one very stubborn question. When the world is broken and humans have made a mess of it, can God come down and sort it out?" Tamil cinema keeps asking and keeps answering yes, just with a different god every generation.